Danny, let's talk a little DC and let's talk Commanders because obviously football season right around the corner. Sell me on the Commanders. I feel like I have not heard one good thing coming out of Washington in a long time. Is there any reason for optimism?
There's some. I mean, if you'd left your hotel room, you might have run into a homer, but you probably would have had to go outside of the city limits. Right now, we major in hipsters and coffee shops that allow cats. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's one of those things where they've gone a couple years with Rivera, where they've treaded water, and then they wanted a bunch of pats on the back for this massive culture change that they're sort of alleging has taken place. I suppose. I don't know. I mean, I've seen this before. It was called Jay Gruden. I've seen this before. It was Mike Shanahan. I've seen this before. I've seen it before. They took Carson Wentz. That was the guy that couldn't say no to them. He was going to be cut by the Colts, and they went and traded for him, made a big offseason splash acquisition, and that's kind of been all the business they've conducted here. This offseason, they're relying on a defense that dropped 22 spots in the rankings last year to just be better for some reason. They've added some offensive pieces, though. Jahan Dotson, first-round draft pick, maybe a reach from where he was slotted, but they're going to use him in kind of a multitude of ways, assuming Curtis Samuel's health, which is a terrible and dangerous assumption. This is a guy that we renamed the side field and the stationary bike after Curtis Samuel, after his odyssey last year, where they paid him a whole mess of money like a number 2 receiver, and I think he had 7 or 8 snaps more than all of us put together. So a lot of improvement is just needed in-house internally. The optimism reason, Chelsea, is probably the schedule. They've got a really easy schedule as far as these things go on paper here in June, but they've got a bunch of bad teams. Jacksonville, Detroit out of the gate. Listen, Detroit's frisky. They'll be better. You guys, I'm sure, have talked about it ad nauseum on your show, but it's still Detroit where they don't win that many games. Jacksonville, year one of a new coach after a garbage fire last year. You got a chance to maybe harvest some nuts here a little bit as you're kind of getting out of the gate. You don't have to be great. You can be okay, and there's a path to maybe 9 wins.
We're talking to Danny Rouhier, co-host of Grant and Danny on 106.7 The Fan here in D.C. from 2 to 6:30 p.m. each and every weekday. He's also on Twitter, Funny Danny, and hilarious if you ever get to see him perform stand-up comedy. Danny, so you mentioned that defense, and I think last year I got bamboozled by this team because I thought
we all did.
Yeah, I mean, we thought you got a top 5 defense coming back, and then Chase Young underperforms, gets injured, and then said during the offseason, which really stood out to me, he said something about I had to get that bag, had to get my money, which is fine. Get your money, young man. But are you of the opinion that this defense can take a step back forward? Because based on what we've seen, they're trending in the wrong direction.
Yeah, 2 things. One, I need that Michael Jenkins plan. Whatever you're doing, waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever it is, and you look like you're 27 with 2% body fat. And I woke up 10 minutes early. Look at these things. Look at this. And look at you, for God's sakes. I don't know how you do it. And I'm jealous of your face and your hair. Anyway, Jenks, it's going to be one of those things where, again, let's say you're me, right? Let's say you're 5 on your best day in your nicest fitted suit and you're rolling around, and I go stand next to the Avengers. It's like me, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, all the Chris's, Chris Pratt's there.
Yes.
I'm not going to feel very good about myself. Now let's say I walk into like a bowling alley on a Tuesday for league night. I'm going to feel a little bit better. That's the Washington defense this year. Their schedule, again, is pretty soft. When they were a top 5 ranked defense a couple of years ago, they were facing the likes of Ben DiNucci. All due respect to the DiNucci family, that's an easier quarterback to deal with than Dak Prescott. They faced broken-ass Carson Wentz in his first week. He got sacked 217 times, the beginning of his downfall there in Philadelphia. And now, ironically, he's here, and he's going to shepherd us into this brave new future, even though, by the way, they can cut him after this year and have a 0 salary cap allocation or dead cap. And they didn't restructure him at all to lessen his cap impact this year to go after free agents. But I'm sure they love him. Anyway, yeah, the defense is going to be better because their opponents are worse. I think that's their sort of main thesis here. Jamin Davis, their first-round draft pick last year, who they never should have taken. They were wrong. I was right. But this is an off-ball linebacker. They thought he was a middle linebacker. That lasted about a practice and a half. They kicked him off ball. He barely played for more than half the season. They couldn't play him on running downs. Again, I'm sure that's a good idea. But he's just supposed to be better at some point. They don't have a third starting linebacker on their roster. They were better when they moved Landon Collins out of position against his will into this kind of Buffalo nickel linebacker safety hybrid last year. So again, they're just sort of counting on guys that didn't play well. William Jackson, their free agent acquisition last year was a disaster. They just are going to say those guys will be better this year somehow, some way. I don't see the path to it, honestly. I think maybe a better offense, staying on the field a little bit longer, having more longer sustained drives might help them. But I don't quite see the vision. I just don't see it the way they see it, Jenks.
So do we think the NFC East is once again going to be the NFC least? Or do you think there's going to be some improvement in this division this year? Because I feel like that's the consensus.
Yeah, improvement is relative, right? One is more than zero. I don't think Dallas got much better. Personally, they're the class of the division still until somebody knocks them off, even though you don't have repeat winners in this stupid division since Philadelphia was doing it with Donovan McNabb in the early 2000s. Philadelphia has gone in this offseason. I mean, this is really a Jalen Hurts question. Where you stand on him, I think, is kind of where you stand on Philadelphia. I personally like playmakers at that spot. I don't think his ceiling is as high as some others, but they're good enough to beat, mediocre teams like the one I happen to cover and think about on the daily basis here in Washington, D.C. I like what they've done on defense. They went all in on A.J. Brown, and it just is a stark contrast to what Washington's doing with one of their own in Terry McLaurin. They're dragging their feet, trying to figure it out, and Philadelphia says, we've got to figure it out. There's a playmaker available in via trade. We'll give him $100 million, even though he's never caught a pass for us. Go back to Devontae Smith from last year. They've got weapons. That running game is going to be fearsome, among the best in the NFL, and Hurts is a big part of that. So I think how they do defensively is going to matter the most. So they're, to me, 1A in the division. Listen, the Giants, they're not there yet, but they're also not just going to roll over and die. If Barkley's healthy, if that line is okay, I like Dable as a play caller, certainly. Daniel Jones has about a third of his career production against my Washington Commanders over his career. So, they're not good by any stretch of the imagination, but I guess, Chelsea, to answer your question, I don't think anybody's particularly good in this division, but it's not terrible. It's not a terrible division because I think there are 3 okay teams and also the Giants.
Danny, we got a couple minutes here, and I know you've covered Dan Snyder for a long time like I have. Is he just going to keep avoiding this subpoena until things get more serious? It looks like he is.
Yeah, he's got a yacht. And if you've got a yacht, you can stay on your yacht. He's in international waters right now, and his lawyers are doing this. You guys, we have to agree to the terms. And it's total nonsense. These are such highly paid lawyer people. They're just issuing statements and on their letterhead, and it's all very fancy pants. Yes, he's going to avoid this. He's going to delay it. He's going to do the thing that rich guys do. And it's just a reminder that us peons down here at the lower level where we have to pay tickets and show up when we're asked to show up and just do the things that everyone has to do. The rules don't apply to him, and he's a cartoon villain, and he stinks, and I hate him so much, and I just want him to be held accountable for 1/10 of 1 second. Not only because he's ruined my favorite football team, but because he made people in his employ horribly uncomfortable at best over the course of his entire dictatorship, terrible career here, running one of the beloved franchises in sports into the ground. He should be forced to suffer a fraction of the discomfort that he and his culture imposed upon his staff and his employee. And it doesn't seem to be the case at this stage. We're now almost semi-weekly, asking congressional lawyers or people that have appealed to the Supreme Court at various points. So can he be arrested? Words like contempt, we're just throwing it around like we're Perry Mason closing an episode out. We have no idea, and it's the worst type of stuff because what's fun? It's actually talking about sports, talking about House oversight committees, with all due respect to those folks on the Hill, is not that awesome.
Oh, my God. Tell us how you really feel about Dan Snyder.
I hate him. Does that count?
I think we got your opinion on that matter. He is Danny Rouhier, co-host of Grand Danny on 106.7 The Fan in Washington, D.C. Give him a follow on Twitter, @FunnyDanny. Danny, thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you guys. Jenks, I miss your face.
I miss your face.